Today's teachers face challenges unlike any other time in history. They are bombarded with issues of political correctness as they struggle to balance curriculum requirements and expectations from parents and the community at large. In addition, this fast-paced, media-driven society has produced a generation of students who are generally more outspoken. Many studies, in fact, indicate they are more aggressive, argumentative, and more likely to display emotional and social problems at school. In order to effectively manage these challenges, teachers are often required to wear many hats. They have become mediators, parents, security guards, even psychologists in the classroom. Are teachers affected by this? Of course they are. Many fear for their own safety as schools more and more frequently have become the battleground for restless youth vying for power. Disputes that were once settled with fists are now settled with knives and guns. Solutions to problems of this nature are unfortunately hard to find. There are many factors that come into play here: socioeconomic conditions, the family, peer groups, and TV violence, to mention a few. You cannot control the many things that affect the lives and behavior of your students. You can, however, control how you respond to the many challenges they present. It is imperative, therefore, to develop effective communication techniques. This program, based on the concepts of assertiveness, has been designed to teach these skills. Let's take a look now as our drama begins in a grade 8 science class. The teacher, Mr. Colvin, is having difficulty with the student, Jake. He's very frustrated because this student routinely disrupts his class. As you are viewing, try to identify the choices the teacher made to deal with this student. Do you think the teacher's reaction will encourage or discourage the student's behavior in the future?
All right, class. What are the 3 leading causes of heart disease? Anyone? Jake?
Lack of exercise?
Lack of exercise. Correct. There's another one. Anyone else? Zoe?
Stress?
Correct. Now there's one other. Luke?
Poor diet.
Poor diet. Correct. Now there's one other element which we really have not talked about, and that's the emotional element, and with things such as anger and depression. Now, pay attention or you're out of here. Is that understood? Now, time that we discuss the physical elements of the heart, there is the right ventricle, the right atrium, the superior...
What the hell?
Jake, get up here now. I said get up here now. Move it. You are the most disrespectful, obnoxious student I've ever come across. Party's over, Jake. Get out of here. Like I was saying, the superior vena cava.
Jake knew exactly what to do to irritate his teacher, and he worked at it until Mr. Colvin finally exploded. Mr. Colvin's reaction to Jake was based completely on anger and frustration. As a result, Mr. Colvin made some very inappropriate choices. He slapped his book down on the desk. He yelled at Jake and ordered him to pay attention.
Is that understood?
He pointed his finger at him. He yelled, "Get up here now." He ordered, "Now, move it." He used name-calling. "You are disrespectful, obnoxious."
Most disrespectful, obnoxious student I've ever come across.
All of these responses are characteristics of aggressive behavior. When you take this type of action, there are 3 likely consequences. The student will listen and follow your orders. The student will become defensive and start yelling back, or try in some way to seek revenge. The student will attempt to show his classmates that he or she is not afraid of or intimidated by you. Jake took option number 3. He had an audience, so he made a joke of it. Jake won this round. Now, where does this leave Mr. Colvin? In the next vignette, teachers discuss attitude, power, and respect. As we continue viewing, consider this question. What impact does your attitude have on the behavior of your students?
Hey, how's it going?
Don't ask.
Do you want some tea?
Sure.
Cheer up. It's only Monday.
Don't remind me. Sometimes I wonder why you bother to show up at this place. These kids are so rude and mouthy. I don't know why they come here. It's certainly not to learn. How do we get through these kids anyway?
Most of the kids aren't that bad.
All I need is one bad one.
Yeah, and I have Jake.
Yes, we all know Jake.
He is the most obnoxious kid I've ever come across. He sets me up, and then he just sits there with that stupid grin on his face.
What is it about the kids like Jake anyway? Do you think it's a power thing?
Of course it's a power thing, and we have none. Zero. These kids know it too. That's why they play it out for all it's worth. The bottom line is, these kids aren't interested in school. They're just passing the time here.
I guess it's up to us to do something about that.
Are you saying Jake's behavior is my fault?
Absolutely not. I know Jake's a problem. What I'm saying is if we're doing something that isn't working, we need to look at it.
That makes sense too, because if it isn't working, we end up falling into a negative rut with these kids.
We all do it. If we feel negative towards them, they know it.
Yeah, but how do you not feel negative about a kid like Jake?
Feel whatever you want, just don't get caught up in his game.
What?
Power game. I don't respect you, you don't respect me. Who's gonna win?
Yeah, but how do you respect someone who infuriates you?
Mr. Colvin is right. It is difficult to respect someone who makes you feel angry, frustrated, powerless. This is why developing effective communication skills is so important. It can give you that power to handle these very difficult situations. In our next vignette, we talk about 3 basic styles of communication: passive, assertive, and aggressive. As you are viewing, consider these questions. How would you classify your communication style? Does it generally work?
I don't care anymore. I just march Jake straight down to the office and let somebody else deal with him.
That works?
Of course it does. Gets him out of my class.
But he's back the next day, doing the same thing all over again.
Look, it's the best I can do. I have 30 students. I can't focus all my attention on one who doesn't even want to learn. Got that track thing. We better get going.
You know what? Maybe we all need to look at different approaches to deal with the Jakes of the world.
What do you mean?
Maybe we should try being assertive.
I've tried assertive. Trust me, it doesn't work.
You've been aggressive. There's a big difference.
I've never been aggressive with a student. Lay your hands on someone around here and you're sued.
You don't have to physically hit someone to be aggressive. You can be aggressive with your words, or with your body language, even your tone of voice.
If you can't yell around here, you're in history. It's the only thing these kids understand.
I don't agree. Kids do understand respect. And if you start yelling at them, you've lost that.
I don't respect anyone to begin with.
Don't make that assumption. And let's not forget we teach by example. Aggression doesn't work.
So what's the alternative? We can't passively ignore what's going on. If they think you're a pushover, you're dead. You won't stand a chance.
Be assertive. Let me give you an example.
Next scenario demonstrates an assertive approach. As we continue, see if you can identify the 8 assertive measures Miss James took to deal with her student, Rianne.
Okay, Abby, you're on. Okay, let's wrap for today. You're right. Rianne?
Yeah?
Can I talk to you for a minute? I feel concerned when you do things in class that cause accidents, because somebody could get hurt.
What do you mean? I didn't do anything. I can't help it if she tripped.
We both know what happened here. You're a good student, Rianne. You're very talented. I want to see you get something positive out of this class.
I told you I didn't do anything. I can't help it if Abby...
This is not about Abby. This is about you. I need to know what you can do to resolve this. I don't need an answer right now, but please think about it. Okay? Okay.
That makes sense. You confronted Rianne, you confronted the issue, but you did it in a positive way.
One thing I learned about difficult students is get them in your court. If they think you're out to get them, watch out. They will do everything in their power to give you trouble.
Were you able to identify the assertive measures Miss James took with Rianne? She showed respect for Rianne by not confronting her in front of her classmates. She remained calm. She did not raise her voice. She looked directly at Rianne as she was speaking to her. She limited her discussion to the present. She stated the problem using an I, when, because statement. I feel concerned when you do things in class that causes accidents because somebody could get hurt. She gave Rianne the responsibility to solve the problem. I need to know what you can do to resolve this. She also boosted Rianne's self-esteem by saying, "You're a talented student." Many difficult, disruptive students have leadership qualities. Unfortunately, many of those abilities are wasted on destructive behavior. As we continue, teachers discuss how to redirect some of that negative energy into something positive.
I hope the kids do well at the meet. They've been working pretty hard. Wow. This kid's an amazing artist.
Con artist, baby. Unbelievable. We hadn't walked by when we did. He would have sprayed painted graffiti all over the place.
He's really got to you, hasn't he?
The kid's a criminal. It's a shame, too, because he's very talented. You should have seen this drawing we found.
It's too bad we can't find a way to put that talent to use in a positive way.
Let me guess. You're still talking about Jake?
Wonder if that might work.
What? Have I missed something here?
I was just wondering if we could find a wall someplace here where we could let him do his thing.
Graffiti?
Why not? I think that's a great idea.
I think you're asking for trouble.
They're doing it anyway. Look, Jake may be a pain to us, but he is popular. This could be a way to get him to be a leader in something.
Leadership is power. Do we want to give this kid more power? I think he's got enough already.
This is not about power. This is about building self-esteem. Giving a kid a reason to try.
There are no guaranteed solutions that work for everyone. Every student, teacher, situation is different. We do hope, however, that we've been able to offer you some guidelines to help you develop your own personal style, to more effectively manage your classroom and your students. To conclude, we'll now return to the classroom with Mr. Colvin. Mr. Colvin has decided to take a completely different approach with Jake. Could something like this work for you?
Okay, everyone. Class dismissed. Jake, could you stay a minute? I owe you an apology. I yelled at you and embarrassed you in front of your friends. I shouldn't have done that. I just get pretty frustrated with you sometimes.
Well, I'm not exactly the perfect student.
No. And I guess I'm not the perfect teacher either. But I was hoping we could change all that, Jake.
Like how?
Perhaps we could try to work things out in a more positive way in the future. I'd certainly like to try. You willing to work with me on this?
Well, what do you want me to do?
Let's leave everything that happened in the past. We'll start from here and deal with things as they come up. Fair enough?
Sure.
Okay then, we have a deal. I believe this belongs to you.
Thanks.
You're pretty talented.
Thanks.
How would you feel about painting something on a wall here at school?
Are you serious?
Why not? Maybe you could even get some of your friends to help.
I don't think they'd go for it.
I have a feeling they would if they thought you were in on it. Kids trust you. They like you. What do you say? Why don't you think about it?
Okay, I'll think about it.
Provided by No Frills Car and Truck Rentals in Toronto. Thanks to our friends at Polaroid for instant memories. Wardrobe provided by Overkill Clothing, never too much. Our paper trail was made possible by Canon Copiers. StarTAC cell phones provided by Motorola and Bell Mobility. Apple Computers, leadership in technology for education.